In the heart of Jerusalem, hidden behind centuries of silence, lies a gate that refuses to be forgotten. Sealed in stone, untouched for nearly 5 centuries, yet spoken of in prophecy for thousands of years. They call it the Eastern Gate. Others call it the Golden Gate. But to many believers, it is the doorway to the greatest event still to come, the return of the King. The Eastern Gate has stood sealed for nearly 480 years. Its massive stones have not moved. Its doorway has not been opened, and yet it speaks louder today than ever before. Why? Because prophecy is written upon it. Many call it just another ruin, but those who know Scripture see it as more, a divine countdown clock. Could it be that movement around this sealed gate is pointing us closer to the most significant moment in human history, the return of Jesus Christ? For centuries, empires have tried to silence this gate. Some have buried it, others sealed it with stone. Skeptics have dismissed it as meaningless, but the Bible has never been silent. And now strange events are beginning to take place around the Eastern Gate that have believers asking one haunting question: is prophecy waking up? Before we uncover the mystery and explore the prophecies tied to this ancient doorway, take a moment to subscribe to our channel. That way you won't miss future revelations where history, archaeology, and prophecy collide to reveal God's truth. To understand why the Eastern Gate is so significant, we must first recognize what it represented in the days of ancient Israel. Facing directly toward the Mount of Olives, the Eastern Gate was no ordinary entrance. It was the prophetic doorway through which the very presence of God, His Shekinah glory, entered the temple. The prophet Ezekiel described how the glory of the Lord came through this gate into the city, and how it later departed because of Israel's disobedience. Centuries later, many believe Jesus Christ fulfilled this prophecy when He rode into Jerusalem on a donkey on what we now call Palm Sunday. As crowds spread palm branches before Him and shouted, "Hosanna to the Son of David," He entered through the very Eastern Gate. That moment was not random, it was deeply prophetic, an echo of Ezekiel's vision, pointing to Jesus as the promised Messiah. But after generations of conflict, something strange occurred. In 1541, Jerusalem was under the rule of the mighty Ottoman Empire. Sultan Suleiman the Magnificent, a brilliant strategist and conqueror, gave a mysterious order. Without warning, he sealed the Eastern Gate with massive stones and mortar. To this day, no official reason was ever recorded. Why seal a gate that had stood for centuries? Many scholars and religious thinkers believe the Sultan was well aware of the ancient Jewish prophecy that the Messiah would one day come through the Eastern Gate. Fearing that prophecy, he attempted to block it, as if stone and mortar could prevent the hand of God. And he didn't stop there. In front of the sealed gate, he ordered the construction of a Muslim cemetery. This was not just a wall of stone, but a wall of ritual. According to Jewish law, a priest cannot walk through a graveyard without becoming ritually unclean. If the Messiah was to come from a priestly or royal line, the Sultan believed he had created an impenetrable barrier, both physical and spiritual. But can human power stand in the way of divine prophecy? Can stone walls silence what God has decreed? In recent years, believers have begun to notice unusual signs around the Eastern Gate. Worshippers who pray near it, from the Temple Mount on one side and the Mount of Olives on the other, have reported strange occurrences. Some have noticed small cracks forming in the ancient stones. In certain places, the tightly packed rocks appear to have shifted slightly, as if the gate itself were straining, adjusting, preparing. These are not wild, dramatic collapses. They are subtle, delicate movements, but unusual for a structure that has stood unmoved for centuries. Some visitors claim they have felt faint vibrations beneath their feet while praying near the gate. Not the tremors of traffic or construction, but something deeper, like a pulse within the earth itself. Is it coincidence? Natural settling of old stone? Or could it be that beneath the surface, prophecy is beginning to stir? The Eastern Gate is not just history, it is a signpost. For centuries it has stood sealed, but Scripture assures us it will not remain that way forever. What lies ahead may be the fulfillment of promises spoken long ago, promises that no empire, no wall, and no graveyard can silence. Whispers around Jerusalem are growing louder. Some say the stones themselves are stirring. Could the sealed Eastern Gate be preparing to open? Worshippers who pray near the Golden Gate have begun to notice strange things. Some speak of fine dust trickling down from between the massive stones, as if something behind the sealed wall is pressing ever so gently against it. Others claim they've heard muffled sounds, soft thuds, deep groans, like the ancient doors of the city are trying to breathe again after nearly 5 centuries of silence. These accounts are not shouted as sensational rumors. They are spoken softly, reverently, by those who believe they are standing near a divine mystery. They come especially from people who pray there with sincerity and expectation, men and women who long for the return of the Lord and are watching carefully for signs. But what would it mean if this gate is truly beginning to move? Yes, there are natural explanations: cracking stones, shifting blocks, dust settling with time. Ancient structures can wear down with weather, earthquakes, and human traffic nearby. But what if these subtle changes are not just the work of nature? What if they are the first visible signs of a spiritual reality pressing into our physical world? The Bible reminds us that what is seen often begins in the unseen. Hebrews 11:3 tells us, "By faith we understand that the universe was formed at God's command, so that what is seen was not made out of what was visible." In other words, the true action often starts in the invisible realm, where human eyes cannot see, but where the Spirit of God is at work. Perhaps the gate will not burst open with a violent crash or fall in a single night. Maybe, like much of God's work, it will move quietly, gently, according to His perfect timing. If the eastern gate is stirring, it may be because the King is preparing to come, and even the stones are beginning to cry out in anticipation. The timing of these whispers is striking. Look at the world around us. Chaos in the nations, wars and rumors of wars, earthquakes, moral confusion, and instability on a global scale. And in the middle of it all, Jerusalem once again finds itself at the center of attention. Now the sealed eastern gate is being talked about again. For those who study prophecy, this is no coincidence. Jerusalem is the heartbeat of biblical history. It is mentioned by name more than 800 times in Scripture. The Psalms command us to pray for the peace of Jerusalem. Psalm 122:6. The prophets declare that God has placed His name upon this city forever, and Jesus Himself wept over Jerusalem in Luke 19:42, saying, "If you, even you, had only known on this day what would bring you peace, but now it is hidden from your eyes." Could it be that the veil is lifting once more? Could the sealed gate be God's way of shaking the world's attention toward Jerusalem in this final hour? Jesus told us plainly to watch the signs. In Mark 13:28-9, He said, "Now learn this lesson from the fig tree. As soon as its twigs get tender and its leaves come out, you know that summer is near. Even so, when you see these things happening, you know that it is near, right at the door." That phrase, "right at the door," carries deep meaning. What if Jesus was not only describing the nearness of His return, but also pointing symbolically to the very doorway of destiny, the eastern gate itself? It may still be sealed today. It may look silent, unmoved, but Scripture assures us it will not remain closed forever. When it opens, whether with quiet subtlety or with thunderous power, it will announce more than just a change in stone and mortar. It will announce the arrival of the one who is called faithful and true, the King of Kings, the Lord of Lords. And when that day comes, no empire, no ruler, no stone, no cemetery, no strategy of man will be able to stand in His way. If this revelation has stirred your faith, we encourage you to subscribe to our channel. Here, we uncover the truth of the Bible, the mysteries of prophecy, and the signs of the times that point us to Christ's return. Stay with us as we watch, pray, and prepare, for the King is coming, and even the gate is preparing the way.